Testing, testing.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing, testing. Sheila, so I'll put this.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we got 3 now.
You have 3 up here?
Yep.
So with that.
With that one. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I was gonna see, welcome over here. Sorry.
Come on, that's
I'm
fine.
happy to see that. Thank you, thank you. Okay, we are about to get started with our amazing elders panel. If people could go ahead and take a seat and get ready for this next very important part of our summit. It's time for the next part of our morning. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Okay. I hope everyone had a great break. Everybody was enjoying themselves, socializing and chatting and catching up. We're now going to move forward into our elder panel. I have the wonderful pleasure of introducing the facilitator today, Sheila Shin. Sheila is a dear friend of mine as well, so I'm going to start right there. And she is just an amazing person to be being our facilitator. So a little bit about Sheila. Sheila is a former director of the Geriatrics and Genetology Initiatives with the Center for Human Development at UAA. After many years of teaching and training the future workforce in Alaska in a variety of topics in geriatrics, she decided to leave UAA and put her training into practice as a court visitor with the state of Alaska's Office of Public Advocacy and the Alaska court system. She holds a bachelor's degree in sociology, a master's degree in gerontology from the University of Central Oklahoma, as well as a master's degree in public health from the University of Alaska, Anchorage. Please welcome our friend, my friend, Sheila Shin, and our elder panel. Sorry about that.
Okay, see if it does it again. Thank you, Lisa. Truly, Lisa's a dear friend. We worked together at CHD at UAA for a long, long time. It is fantastic to be here in person. Oh my gosh, I get to see people I've not seen in at least 3 years, right? So glad to be here, excited to moderate this panel. This is a good one. I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, panelists, you see about where I'm holding the microphone? Yeah, if you get it too close to your mouth, it starts to make funky noises. So we will go ahead and introduce our fabulous panelists today. We're going to start with Nona here to my left, and we will just pass the microphone on down. Okay, so Nona, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Nona Safra and I live in Homer, Alaska. And I am on the Alaska Commission on Aging, the Governor's Council for Disabilities and Special Education, and the Statewide Independent Living Center.
Hi, my name is Charlotte. Okay, don't like me.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Mulcahy. I work here at the Special Olympics office. I've been here for a year and 3 months already, and I'm a Special Olympic athlete.
Hi, my name is Mike. Okay. Hi, my name is Mike.
Now it's off. How about we just use one for the whole?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
There, that'll-
Hi, my name is Mike Mulcahy. I work at Cars. I've been married to Charlotte almost 7 years, and I enjoy having her as my wife. And I'm happy to be on the panel.
Good morning. My name is Nyla Morgan. I'm the manager of the Medicare Information Office here in Anchorage at the Anchorage Senior Activity Center. I've worked there since May of 2012, and I live in Wasilla, and I'm so happy to be here with you this morning.
Hello, my name is Loretta Claiborne. First of all, I'm a Special Olympics athlete. I've been with Special Olympics since 1970. Yes, I'm giving away my age. But that's okay. But also, I am also a board member for Special Olympics International and also the Chief Inspirational Officer. I am very, very proud to be here today to talk about disabilities and those who happen to be aging. And I'm hoping that I will be able to age gracefully too. By the way, I am 70 years old.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is just have one mic so we don't get that horrible feedback. So I'm gonna run around like Vanna White here and make sure that we just pass the mic on for the questions. Okay, you ready? First question for our elder panel today. What services could your community offer you that would assist you in aging well? And we're gonna start here with Nona.
Okay, I live in a more rural area than Anchorage. So some of the things that I see that we need are transportation. We basically don't have any transportation down on the Lower Kenai Peninsula. We have one accessible cab in Homer. And the next one isn't until you go 75 miles north into Soldotna and Kenai. So that's a major problem. The other thing is we have a workforce crisis in direct service providers. So if there's something that could be offered in our community that would really be helpful to seniors who want to age in place, it would be helping us to solve that. And that would be true across our entire state. For Alzheimer's and related dementias, we are totally unprepared for the tsunami, our silver tsunami that's happening. And being better prepared for us and having some kind of a plan. And we do have our executive director for the Commission on Aging here, John, who has shown up, so we can have further discussion about that. What I have found through my own lived experience is access to medical care, specifically medical specialists who take our insurance, is becoming more and more of a problem. That if I could have something to help me age in place, it would be something along those lines of being able to have access to a full array of medical care. I shouldn't have to wait 4 to 6 months to see a gastroenterologist when I'm having problems. For food sustainability, community high tunnels could be a way to go. When I headed the garden committee at a senior center, we put 2 high tunnels in. Not only could we grow food for the senior center, but we could have a members market. And now we're to the point that we can have little plots where people can grow their own food. So why couldn't we have sustainable food growth programs at schools, senior centers, churches, VFWs, or American Legion posts? You know, the ground is available. There are USDA grants. So I think we can solve some of our own problems without having to turn to the government for handouts that, you know, and it's good, healthy activity to get out there and grow your own food and be, you know, out there in the sun, play in the dirt, dig, physical activity, it's a good thing. Then our friend Jim McCall was wonderful about talking about senior housing. One of the things I hear when I'm dealing with our veterans is they would love tiny homes. They would like tiny home communities. There are wonderful models for that all over the country, and they're a smaller footprint. And specifically, those of our seniors that are coming down onto the Kenai Peninsula, which is the second growth area behind the Matsu when it comes to veterans, they would love to live in tiny homes where they're close together, but not on top of one another. So that might be something else that would make it so they could assist people my age who are into our 70s, I'm almost to my mid-70s, to live, you know, in our area. So the other thing is solving how to keep the next generation in our villages for our Native communities. The Commission on Aging a couple of years ago went to Northway, which is just east of Tok. And in that village, we found that when the elders did not have people in their community to take care of them, the closest place was in Fairbanks, which was, I think, 6 hours away from where their home is in in Northway. And when that was filled, they were sent to Sitka. Now, there's something significantly wrong when you're sending people off the road system where their families can no longer see them. So these elders felt like they were being sent to die. That broke my heart, because not only were they being sent off the road system, but these were Athabascans that were being sent out of their culture. They were being sent to the Haida Tlingit culture, different language, different customs, different food sources. And we as a state can do better and must do better for our people. So what services can a community offer to assist us to age in place? We've got such opportunity, people. And we, as Alaskans, can band together and make these things happen so that we can age in place and be successful.
I know it's confusing, Nona. Thank you, Nona. The excellent points that Nona's made, and what a great audience to really start having those innovative conversations. Okay, next is Nyla. What services could your community offer you that would assist you in aging well?
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate the points that Nona's already brought up. They're excellent. And I did want to address that one of the things that the Anchorage Senior Activity Center has done is they collaborated with one of the local Rotary clubs and created a senior garden area on our campus that people could use a raised bed garden for the summer. And that was very successful even for our first year, which was this year. So I think that's excellent idea of opportunities to collaborate for some of the solutions for this. Some of the things I thought of in addition to what she has mentioned is, you know, one of the things I get frustrated about is when I go to Walmart and they've reconfigured the store every 2 to 3 months and I can't find what I'm looking for. So I have to wander and put in a lot of miles just trying to find the Q-tips, you know. And so I'd love to see some sort of an effort of stores to maintain the configuration that they set up so that as we go to shop, we can find what we need in with the least amount of effort for us. Another thing is I would love to see better street maintenance of our roads here in the valley where I live and also in Anchorage. I know that last year was an exceptional year as far as a snowfall and inclement weather, but I really think there needs to be a better effort by the local governments to maintain safe walkways, driveways, so that people can navigate themselves around our communities. I'd love to see Anchor Rides is a great service for people who have difficulty riding the regular bus system and have no transportation of their own. But the amount of things you can carry on Anchor Rides is extremely limited. I think it's 2 bags. So, and they maintain the idea that, of course, the driver cannot assist the rider in carrying those those bags to their door. And I'd like to see a more relaxed effort on that part that oftentimes, I know recently my mother rode Anchor rides extensively and loved it, but she could only take 2 bags. And sometimes that was insufficient for the frequency that she was allowed to go out and be able to shop. Another area that I have a concern about is I'd like to see additional case management for individuals that are falling through the cracks of our system. As a Medicare counselor, I hear a lot of people's stories and I try to help wherever I can. I try to refer people whenever I can. But there are often, or not necessarily often, but on a pretty regular basis, people where the system that we have in place is not working for them and they are falling through the cracks. And it concerns me greatly because they're skating that edge of being able to be independent and they really just need a few more services and they would be able to thrive. But instead, I can see them getting closer and closer to that edge of falling off, maybe becoming homeless, and some other ramifications that would be really serious for them. I guess lastly, I'd like to see simplified application forms for people who need assistance programs. We do have some wonderful assistance programs, the Extra Help program to help people pay for prescription drugs with Medicare. The Medicare Savings Program, or also known as the buy-in from the state of Alaska. It pays Medicare's Part B premium. And of course, Medicaid and also the Alaska Senior Benefit. You would be amazed at how many people, number one, don't know about these programs. But secondly, the process of actually obtaining the assistance can be long, laborious, confusing, and frustrating. And I would love to be able to see a streamlined system where we can move people through this to what, from the time they find out about the programs to the time they're actually receiving the programs. And I know there's an element in here where the state of Alaska, as far as the Department of the Department of Public Assistance is behind because of the ending of the public health emergency and other things, but I just feel like we can do so much better than we've been doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nyla. Excellent points. Yeah, clapping. We can go ahead and clap if people want to clap. I have to second the grocery store. And as a gerontologist, I've complained about this quite a bit to the grocery stores. To them, it makes us walk through the whole store. So that's their tactic, just FYI. Okay, Mike and Charlotte, do you guys want to answer this question next? Sure. Okay. All right. Mike and Charlotte, I'm going to ask you both. What services could your community offer you that would assist you in aging well?
I'd like to get like more anchorage for other people with other kind of disabilities. That's all I can say.
I'd like to get more service for people with disability by bringing more to buy houses on their own.
Right. Thank you, Mike. Wow, what an amazing concept. Excellent. You guys did great. Thank you. All right. Last but not least, Loretta, what services could your community offer you that would assist you in aging well?
What services would my community offer me? Even though I live in the lower 48 states, I see the polite of what service not only could offer me there, but also services could offer you here. And as a senior, I think some of the services that they could offer, first of all, just don't give us a service because, oh, you're older. Oh, you're a senior citizen, so you must do this. I would like to see them listen to me and say some of the services that I would like. For instance, I would like to get out and go to the gym. I would like to get out and walk. Or I'd like to go out, not to the senior center and play bingo all the time, but maybe mingle with people and just have a session or talk, cup of coffee or something like that. What are some of the services that you could offer me as a person with ID? Some of the same services that you offer others. And I know it takes education, 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 and communication. And when they don't listen to you, to what services that you need or would like to see, then what's the point? For instance, I like to go to the gym and stay pretty fit. And I know a lot of seniors don't like to get out and walk. That's okay if they don't like to get out and walk, but I like to be able to be a part of that community, a part of those seniors that would have a different view on things. That's what I'd like to see my community offer me. I hear transportation is a big issue here in Alaska. And I experienced it, and I feel for you. But also it is a huge issue in the lower 48. I heard the plight of the lady that can only carry 2 bags on the bus. Well, you know what? I'm 70 years old. I'm still riding a bicycle. And I go to the store and I put 1 bag on this side, and I put 1 bag on this side on my bike. And then I put a satchel on my back and pray to the Lord that I can get across Route 30, which is a major highway, safely so I can get home. That is something I shouldn't have to do. But I fear going to my bus station because of the people who hang around and beg for money because they think, oh, okay, that's an older person. I'm going to hit her up. Those are some of the things that the community should sit down and say, hey, because I would go to some of the community meetings and say, the reason why I don't use the bus is because of what hangs out at the bus station, bugging me for money. I should be able to go to that bus station gracefully and be able to use those services and not be feared. I'm too old to fight. Let me live in comfort at my age. Every senior and every person who happens to be a person with ID or other physical challenges should be able to have the same services and enjoy life as they get older. That's what I like to see offered in my community.
Excellent, excellent responses to question number 1. Thank you, panelists. Lots to think about, a lot of similarities in their answers as well. Okay, so we're going to roll into question number 2. What are some of the things that you've done to age well over your lifetime? So when I ask that question, I'm asking for examples of things you personally have done to age well in your lifetime. So Nyla, I'm going to start with you.
Thank you. First of all, I've tried to be intentional about my relationships and building and maintaining relationships, keeping my relationships in good repair with my family, my friends, and my faith. I have worked past the normal retirement age, my full retirement age. I enjoy that. I have found work that I loved and really gives me a lot of fulfillment, and it's hard to leave something like that. Thirdly, I have paid more attention to my current status. So I often take an inventory physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and relationally, financially, and I evaluate where I'm at with each of those. And I try to do good self-care in each of those areas. And then lastly, I have found a lot of joy in volunteering. I feel that when I take whatever I can offer and give it away to someone else, it is very fulfilling to me. And that is something that even after I retire, I'm hoping that that will be something I continue to do throughout my lifetime. And I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nyla. Excellent answer. Charlotte and Mike, do you think you're ready to answer this question? Sure. Okay. All right. I'm going to hand it to you, Charlotte. What are some things that you've done to age well in your lifetime?
What are some things that I've done to age well? eating healthy, buying a house, living independently, exercising more, walking every day, and making a good relationship with our families. Ready, babe? Good. Good.
Okay, eating healthy foods that are nutritious. Get going through cooking it in Linden Center to buy a new house. Be a being with it being a globe
Health.
health messenger. Continuing tour past my retirement
And where do you work again, Mike?
card.
Cars. Excellent.
And I've been there for 22 years.
22 years of cars.
Very
Thank you both for those excellent answers. They are health messengers and they have T-shirts on underneath these T-shirts that show that. At the end of the panel, we'll show everyone. Okay, let's see, Loretta. What are some of the things you have done to age well in your lifetime?
Well, I have to go back and give you a little example. Life was scary for me when I was younger because my mother died at 63 years old. And she was told when I was born that I probably wouldn't make it. And as I said earlier, I gave you my age. So as time went by, I started to be competitive. I did martial arts I earned my 4th degree black belt. I was always into health and fitness in my own way. And no, we didn't have chips when we ran races. You had to qualify for the Boston Marathon, the same as a regular person. There was no excuses. But then time has came that I ran a marathon in 3 hours and 3 minutes. I ran 26 marathons. And as I got older, I thought to myself, what am I going to do? You know, I'm getting older. I'm not going to be able to run a 3-hour marathon no more. I'm not going to be able to take my leg and throw it up in the air. So as time went by, I started to live a little bit with fear, especially when my mother passed at the age of 63. Well, I'll make it. And as I look back, I said to myself, keep your faith, number one. And no, you will not find me in the church every Sunday, but I believe my faith is here and here. As time went by, I just decided, and especially in the last 2 to 3 years, I went almost very depressed. And like I said in the beginning, have some kind of communication with people. Biggest thing you can have is some kind of communication with people. Because I remember back in the early 80s, I was very depressed and I had to take medication. And as COVID hit, I said, oh no, I'm not doing that no more. So I decided to make myself better. Number one, try to eat decent. Number two, try to get out there in that good fresh air and enjoy that sun. Number three, take care not only your body physically, but mentally. So what I did to satisfy my soul mentally was to give back. The same as the lady said next to me. It makes me feel so much better when I sit and I knit preemie hats for babies who I would never see. I can say, every preemie hat I knit, that's a new baby for me. Or whether I'm knitting a knocker for a woman who's lost her breast. The mental health of it, but then the physically health of it, to get out there and just walk, just go to a gym. And when I was strapped in and really depressed with COVID, I sat in my living room floor and did push-ups, put two old weights under my feet, and I did sit-ups. And I said, Loretta, you're gonna make it. I didn't think I would make it this long, but with the grace of God, and I always say, it's more than just eating the right food. And as the man said earlier, don't wait till you're thirsty to take a drink. Don't wait till you're hungry to eat. He's right. Because if you wait till you're thirsty to take a drink of that water, you're gonna drink that whole bottle, and then you're gonna run to the bathroom. So for me to be able to grow older and gracefully, I can proudly say, good mental health, good physical health, and connection with people. I always thank the good Lord every night for the people I have in my life, not for the things. So thank you. That's how I handle that type of situation.
Thank you. Thank you, Loretta. All right, last but of course not least, Nona, what are some things you have done to age well in your lifetime?
Okay, the first thing I did to age well is I turned 60, figured out I was in a bad relationship, severed that, came to Alaska for a 2-week vacation, and that's lasted me 12 years. So that changed, and now I'm aging well. I was very intentional with that. So I agree with Nyla, being intentional is huge. When I got here, I decided I was not going to do anything. I was retired, and people saw me differently than I saw myself, and decided that I should consider a life of service. And I'm glad that I did. And that's how I'm aging well. I stay involved in my community. I want to stay connected to the God of my understanding, and that has led me to a life of grace. I now am friends with people in multiple generations, from birth up to people who are into their hundreds. So I mentor the next 2 to 3 generations in many fashions. I've become extended family to people. I cannot tell you how many people consider me their godmother. Family is more than blood. I have a huge Alaskan family for which I am eternal grateful. And that is helped me age well. I use my skills and my lived experiences to do advocacy. And that's why I sit on different boards and commissions, because I'm determined to make Alaska an even better place for people to thrive. We don't just want to live here, we want to thrive here. And I think everybody in this room pretty much feels the same way. Then I took the time because things started turning south. Those of you that do know me know that last year was an incredibly hard year for me. And so I had to redefine negativity in my life. What were the things that were negative? I had a lot of challenges, and I started seeing them as my blessings that needed more work. And in doing that, I had had some strokes. And how could I redefine those? Because they're pretty frightening. And I redefined them as I needed to slow down. I needed to re-examine how I did things and what was really important in my life. You know, what could I leave by the roadside? What wasn't important and what was, but to slow down because I had revved everything up and I wasn't paying attention. So I had somebody tapping me on the shoulder and going, well, wait a second here. Then 6 months later, I got really, really sick and just about lost my life. Somebody said, hey, you're not paying attention. And I had to redefine a little bit more. Though those were terrifying and challenges, they became my blessings. So we really have to look at when bad things happen, how do we really look at them? And how can we turn those around so that we do age well? They're not really that bad. The most recent example I had is I flew back from the East Coast on Monday. And I ended up, you can see, I have bruises from lifting my backpack. And as I sat there the other day and I looked at them, and so did some other people, we realized I'm dehydrated. And when you dehydrate and things happen, your blood vessels break. It's like, epiphany, I need more water. You know, so even when bad things happen, take a look at them and sometimes they're not as frightening because my worst case scenario came to mind. So how do you age well? Pay attention. Pay attention to yourself, to your surroundings, and to the people you care about. So that's what I have.
Excellent. Thank you, Nona. There's lots of themes running through the responses from the elders on this panel today. The one I hear the most is the fostering those relationships. Probably why I'm so excited to be here in person, because it's been a long time since we've actually been able to be together in person and foster those relationships. Okay, so this next question rolls into the same kind of theme, except it's a little more personal. So we're talking about life hacks. And if any of you know what the life hack meaning is, it's the little things we do every day that allow us to live life easier. And so this next question, and remember, is very specific to those life hacks that you have come up with on your own that help you age well. Okay, so Loretta, we're going to start with you. What are some examples of life hacks that you have figured out that help you navigate your daily life?
One of the life hacks that really helps me navigate my daily life is to get some kind of fitness in, whether it's walking or running or something like that. Like I said, I was a marathoner and it was hard for me to transition as I get older. But another life hack is to go out and communicate with people. I know some people have different life hacks of bettering or doing something different, but I'm really a physical person. And when I was younger, I was a very angry person and I didn't mess with people at all. I didn't even talk. But now one of my life hacks is to get out and enjoy the environment, get out and exercise and get back to my community. One of the things I'd like to do this winter is to go out and volunteer at the food bank. I did my first one and I love it. And it's another way to get to meet and know new people. Even if you only knew that person for one segment of time for that 3 or 4 hours that you're volunteering, you never know if that person is going to come back. Communication, communication, communication. When you're independent by yourself, I have two options. I could get out and see the difference in the world. I could sit on my butt and watch my TV. And I decided that those people on that TV is not doing me any justice. So my life hack is to be involved with people and be able to get back to my community and go at a slower pace and stay well and enjoy life in my older years.
What a great life hack. Thank you, Loretta. Okay, Nona, I'm going to switch over to you. Give us some examples of your life hacks.
Okay, my life hacks have been about changes as a senior and aging. So I have difficulty asking for help. I like being independent. I've been independent for a lot of years. So I found out that asking for help doesn't make me less independent. It actually gives me more access to things. So one of the good examples is that these days when I go to a larger airport, like when we travel internationally, a lot of times we have to change terminals and there are long walks. I usually have a carry-on. I have a companion with me and I have a brain injury. So when we have to do those things and there's lots of different languages and flashing lights and other things, I get confused. I now ask for a wheelchair because it really helps for somebody to negotiate all of that pathway for me. And I don't really lose my independence, but it took me 5 years to be able to just put down on my little, thing at the airport that I need help. And it was one of the best changes I ever made. Really great life hack for me. And coming back this week, I found out that there's a lot of people doing that now that don't need the help, which I find strange, because it took me so long to do it. But it's a great life hack for those of us who do need it. And the other thing that I learned was I buy things in the economy size. And when I was younger and healthier, that was not a problem. Nowadays, like to lift that big thing of laundry soap is tough. I now save the smaller ones that you used to get at like at hotels. And I pour it into the smaller bottles, and those are what I use on a day-to-day thing. So I'm not lifting things and spilling things and dropping things. And that makes my day-to-day, you know, like laundry soap, dish soap, and shampoos, conditioners, everything I use on a daily basis is now in a convenient size for my hands and not in these big bottles. But on a day-to-day basis, it does make a difference. So you can do big things, you can do little things.
Those are excellent life hacks. Thank you, Nona. All right, Charlotte and Mike, would you like to answer this question? All right, give us some examples of life hacks that you use.
My hack lifestyle, I like to run and do other stuff. I like to swim on a swimming team. I was in high school. I remember my high school days, and I wish I could go back to school, but I can't. I'm too old. But I enjoy doing sports, swimming, running, doing a lot of stuff.
Charlotte, do you want to answer? You don't have to. Okay. All right. I think I got everyone on that question. So thank you, everyone. Those are excellent examples of life hacks. You know, as a gerontologist and starting off in the field very young, now that I'm aging myself, I am incorporating life hacks similarly to what the panelists have mentioned. As a matter of fact, my example to them is I'm a gardener and I can't lift those bags of dirt anymore. So I have to use carts and things with wheels and really get creative on how to be able to not hurt myself because I'm old enough now to do permanent damage, right? So life hacks, really important little things. If you want more information, you can find all kinds of videos on aging life hacks on YouTube. Okay, so we're doing okay on time. We're going to roll into question number 4. And question number 4 is a big, deep question. So let's see, Nona, how about we start with you? How have your priorities changed as you've grown older?
Well, the first thing is I've been saving for my old age, and it arrived faster than I expected it to. So now I spend that money thoughtfully, not only on myself, but to help others. But I select others who are willing to help themselves. And to tell you how I do that, like during COVID, I got together with the women I graduated high school with, and we were all on Zoom. So we were talking about the difference between turning 17 and now we were turning 70, and we couldn't have any birthday parties because we couldn't get together. And we graduated high school in 1968, and there was civil unrest. Now we had storming the Capitol. What happened? We had, Black Lives Matter was happening, the Me Too movement, and we decided that we were kind of muted in 1968. Now we were muted on Zoom. Then we were muted by society. And we decided rather than talk over each other on Zoom, we should write and stick it out on a Google Doc. And we did. And we said, wow, 43 of us wrote, it was good, we should publish it. We did that. And we sold out our book. We self-published, and we had all this money. Now, who wants to divide it 43 ways and have to issue, paperwork for the IRS? We don't do that stuff. So we did a scholarship for our high school because we found out girls that went to the high school we graduated from were couch surfing. And we could do something about that by providing some money. And when we went through the second edition of the book, we decided that here we were, women in our 70s, our senior population, who had other problems in life, and we were couch surfing. We were on the border of homelessness. There were certain ones, and we started a girlfriend fund. And it's a blind kind of fund that we have, and we contribute when we can, in addition to the money we make off of our book. And this is how I'm trying to be thoughtful in the money that I have and making sure it benefits those that are willing to help themselves through their crisis. So that's how my priorities have shifted. Family needs always come first, but I'm doing a better job of like, not just like buying gifts for my grandchildren. I'm starting to listen to what they want. And what I'm finding is their generation wants experiences. So my friend Fred and I are very good about now having those experiences. And we've taken them, to everything from Legoland and Disney World to taking them through Bath in England, and we've chased the Loch Ness Monster, and we've searched for dragons and castles in Scotland, because they're 7 years old. Who doesn't want to do that when you're 7? But they're the memories, and that's what we're doing, is I'm spending my money thoughtfully by building memories for grandchildren. And when you think about it, and I ask each one of you in the room, when you think about your grandparents, do you remember a present that you got, or do you remember the experience that you had with your grandparent? And the next time you interact with them, think about what you want to do and be mindful about it. And then the other priority is my health, because today I look at it as this might be the healthiest day of my life going forward. I've had that lesson. Last year was filled with that lesson. So, that's my priority. Stay healthy and be mindful. They sound simple, but practicing them every day is really a blessing. They're not that easy.
Thank you. No, what a great answer to that question. I'm in my 50s and I want to go to Scotland and look for dragons. So we'll have to talk. Okay. Nyla, how have your priorities changed as you've grown older?
Thank you. Well, I love what Nona said. I thought that was amazing. And one of the things I can tell you that my husband and I decided to do a few years back that I have really enjoyed is we think of the different places that we donate to as our portfolio. And so every year or so, we evaluate our portfolio and see, are these the same priorities we have now that we had perhaps a few years ago? Like for a long time, there was a private school that helped kids with dyslexia. And because I had a child with dyslexia, many years even after he graduated, we were interested in making sure that school was successful. But over the years, as things have moved on, we've changed that portfolio. And so I really like what she said, and I enjoy being able to contribute in a monetary way to people's significant improvement in life. Another thing that has come up is my mom passed away recently, and she was the last member of that generation. And as I am now the oldest person in my family, a lot of the historical documents and things like that have fallen to me. And I've had a conundrum of how do I handle these documents? What can I do to make sure that they get passed on to successive generations that may not be meaningful to them at this moment, but hopefully sometime in the future, they will care about those. And so that has been kind of one of the things I've been thinking a lot about is how to successfully keep track of all this. It's an amazing amount of information we have nowadays. I can go back like 6 or 7 generations, but what do you do with all that? Pictures and information like that. So that's something I'm trying to make a priority of mine. I've also worked harder recently at really evaluating what is it that I need in my life as far as items are concerned. I'm 68, and as time has gone by, I have collected a lot of stuff. And I've now more in the last year or two have really realized I think I have too much. And so to be able to really look at the things that how often do I use that item? What is the value of that item? Is there someone who could use it more than myself? And be able to kind of have my hands more open instead of collecting, but really saying who else could benefit or enjoy this item? Is it something I really need? Another thing I've really thought a lot about is having more of a desire that I think about the fact that, I may have 30 years to live, but those 30 years, what are my priorities as far as my relationship with my Lord and my family, my relationships? They're more of a priority to me now than it was in the past. In the past, I think I suffered from a condition called FOMO, fear of missing out. And so anything that came along, I was up for because I didn't want to miss out. But now I'm able to be a little bit more careful about what I choose to get involved with, how I spend my energy, my time, my efforts. So those are the things I've prioritized. Thank you.
It's excellent, excellent points there. The older you get, the more you do prioritize your precious time. Time becomes our most precious commodity. All right, Loretta, you're next. How have your priorities changed as you've grown older?
You know, my priorities didn't change that much. Yes, I'm not running marathons in 3 hours and 3 minutes. I'm a 4th-degree black belt, that type of thing. But one of my priorities as a young person was when I got involved in the Special Olympics. And I made up my own little logo or slogan, like Special Olympics slogan is, let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave and attempt. My slogan is, God is my strength and Special Olympics is my joy. It brought joy to me at a time in my life when I was young, when I should have been out there at the prom, when I should have been doing the things that the teenagers did. But you know what? My priority is still the same today about Special Olympics. And my priority today is to make sure that our youth, our younger people have the same opportunities, but better opportunities than I had when I was in school. So one of my priorities, like I said, first of all, my health is my wealth. I always say that, more than money or anything, because if I don't have that good health, I don't have that wealth to take that priority that I have to see what's happening today. We had 4 health messengers here and 2 of them are at the table today speaking about better health for people with an ID. And I am a part of the early stages of that. When you see the school programs, unified schools, I went down and stepped down the porches in the government on that hard surface in Washington till my feet hurt. And Tim Shriver, whose mother created this program. My priorities are still the same today about Special Olympics. And today I have 2 priorities: to make sure that our athletes have the same opportunities as anyone else. The right to education, our athletes are now going to college. And when I look back, I have another priority: the Loretta Claiborne Supernal Foundation for the betterment of Special Olympics in Pennsylvania. And there's also another priority, the Loretta Claiborne Leadership Scholarship Fund. It's an endowment that I like to see, that athletes will have the opportunities to be leaders across the globe. Those opportunities I never had. I was never taught to speak. I was told I wasn't going to speak. And yes, I do sign. So my priorities are still the same, but my number 1 priority is to stay healthy so I can communicate that message to the future.
Wow, that was excellent. Thank you. Great answers to these questions, panelists. Okay, I got everyone for that. Oh, I missed you guys. Sorry. As I'm playing Vanna White back here, passing the mic, I don't have my pen to cross your names off. I know. No, you did not. Do you want to answer? You should answer. This is a good one. Okay, all right. We're gonna go with Charlotte and Mike. Charlotte and Mike, how have your priorities changed as you've grown older?
Me first, okay. My priorities changed. I was working at the hospital for almost 27 years, but before COVID, they let me go because of when COVID happened. And another priority is my relationship with me and Mike. We dated for, I've known Mike since 1992. And this past Sunday, we just celebrated our 7th wedding anniversary. And thank you. And my health right now, I'm having problems with my heart. And next week I got a doctor's appointment. A couple of days ago, I had to wear a heart monitor because my heart, it's beating really fast. And then I have new hearing aids because I have hearing loss. And I have a rep payee that pays all my medical bills and mortgage, getting rides from work to home too.
Thank you, Charlotte. Mike, do you want to answer? How have your priorities changed as you've gotten older?
My priorities changed when I got older. I lost my mom. She had a what do you call it? Gastric cancer and had liver, and I still miss her. That's one of my priorities because I miss her and love her. I love everybody. I can't.
Thank you. And by the way, happy anniversary. They told us last month that they were married 7 years on the 8th, so 3 days ago. Congratulations. All right. Are we doing okay on time? And for one more question? Nobody's saying no? Okay, one more question. This one is the funnest one because this is when the panelists get to share their wisdom. So Nyla, I'm going to start with you first. What advice about aging well would you give to the future generations?
Well, I have a list. One is, I would suggest if you're young, actively think about how you want to spend your life. You know, find something that you're passionate about and jump right into it. I think that one of the things I regret as a kid is I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. And no one really came along and helped me look at my skill set or interest levels or things like that. But actually UAA has some amazing tests you can take that can help you kind of figure out what your interests are, what your just natural bent is and skill set and how to apply that. And I wish I'd had something like that. It took me a long time. I wandered through, I was a nurse for 20 years. I moved into social services and now doing Medicare. I've loved all those things, but it was kind of a wandering path with me. And it could have been much more intentional, I would say. The next thing is, I just really encourage you to keep short accounts, you know, with others. Unforgiveness, you pay a big price for it. And the longer you keep it, the bigger the price you pay. And so I like to really advise people to just be able to resolve things the best you can in your life as quickly as possible. And then, of course, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I wish I had been less reluctant to lavish my love on people. You know, I think I tended to be more reserved, maybe a little insecure and held back. I highly suggest lavish your love on the people you care about, but have good boundaries in place. You know where you stop, they start. And I think that makes a successful life.
Thank you. Hey, excellent, excellent response. Thank you, Nyla. Okay, Loretta, what advice about aging well would you give the future generations?
The advice I would give as we age well is I would like to sit down and talk to future generations about getting older. Because so many of our younger people, if you look out in the street, don't think that they're going to be older. And they could be. And I would like to sit down in a circle, just like the indigenous people, just to talk to people and talk to them how my life went when I was told that I was going to live this long and how it has become as I grow older, and that one day they'll be able to grow older. And one of the things I would say to them, take care of yourself now. An elderly person told me this, do what you have to do today so you don't have to worry about it tomorrow. And that woman is 87, 88 years old. I listen to my elders. So many of our young people don't. Listen to them because they had went that path. And hopefully you'll be able to go that path. And if there is a glitch, you can make a path around to make your way. Listen to your elders. Do what you have to do today so you don't have to worry about it tomorrow. That's what I would like to do to enchant our younger generations into the future, that there is happiness as you get older. And when a young person walks up to me today and says, you old school, I said, that's all right. I use humor. I might be old school, but I hope that you live this long. Always have a time to laugh. And that was not easy for me to say as a young person. Thank you.
Thank you. These are such good answers. Okay, Nona, what advice, oh, you don't need this. What advice about aging well would you give future generations?
Mine sounds a whole lot like Loretta's, just in other words. So smile and laugh every day. That's really important. It helps you when you face the world. Then my advice is do as much listening as you do talking. Get to know your elders. They have information in history that if they don't pass it on to you, it's lost to future generations. And it's important to have. The other thing is you'll age more quickly than imaginable. And one day a generation will marvel at what you've lived through, what you know, and who you've met. An example of this is every once in a while, somebody will ask me about the women that I've met along my path. And I love to tell them that when I was a little girl, I met Eleanor Roosevelt and Helen Keller. At which point people will go, OMG, like you're that old, thinking that I was born in the 1890s, you know? So, and there's a context about the history of things, not realizing that what I do for a living with people with disabilities and with children and why I got into education is based upon meeting those two women and the impact they had on my life. But if young people don't talk to me, the legacy of women like an Eleanor Roosevelt or a Helen Keller is nothing but what they read in a book, because they will have never met somebody that had met those women. So it's important that you learn what in my heritage is called the door of the door, from generation to generation. That's a very important part of life. And remember, if you're not currently a senior, you are a fabulous senior in waiting.
What a great way to end this panel. Let me give Mike and Charlotte one more chance. Would you like to respond or would you like to pass? They're going to pass. Okay, so we're going to, you want to try? Okay, all right, Mike's going to try. So Mike, what advice about aging well would you give to future generations?
I like to see young people stay in school and learn and get a good education. And I don't want to see kids left behind. I want to see kids go front and listen to their teachers. And I want people to graduate from high school like I did.
That was great. Education, yes. Okay. That concludes the questions for our elder panelists today. Looks like we've got a few minutes. Could we see if there's any questions for our panelists? And I will continue to share the mic. Any questions?
Fool will argue with, a wise one asks this question while a fool will argue with the fact.
Okay. Anyone want to take that on? All right. Do we have any questions from our online participants? Thank you. Such wisdom indeed. Yes. Okay, well then we will go ahead and wrap up this elder panel and let everybody get to lunch. I hear there's food trucks somewhere. And I thank you all for your time, and I especially thank the panelists. This was another amazing experience. I've been doing this for a handful of years now. I love this panel. So thank you all for your time. Do you
Let me
want?
say something?
Sure. Charlotte wants to say something.
I was really impressed. I was really happy that I was on the panel for the first time this year. And I was really excited to be on it.
Good job. You did a fantastic job. Thank you all.